Hi, I'm Mark from online Outback Busking, and I'm going to profile a lot of the tales, yarns and the true history of Outback Queensland. And today we're starting in Roma, actually particularly at the Roma Cemetery. I'm going to talk about one particular family who typifies what happened in the Outback. Many German families came, people don't realise that, to the harsh conditions of the Outback straight from Germany, and they settled in the Roma district. Many were vineyard owners. They grew the grapes, terrific grapes actually. They made the, late 1800s, the Royal Exposition in London had bottles of wine from Roma, so there we go. And the Bassett family really pioneered it here, but also there's the Kupfers, Steins. Frederick Stein had a huge vineyard. But today I'm going to talk about a family called the Klaas. The Klaas family were great blacksmiths. They had a big premises in Arthur Street in Roma, in the middle of Roma, where they repaired wagons. They made special things. Two of the very special items they did make were, one was a special swing chair made out of iron, and that's still sought after today. There's still one or two around, and here's a photo of the swing chair. Now, even more special than that was an item called the Steiger Vortex gun. And the Steiger Vortex guns were big, conical tubes, which would be like a gun pointed at the atmosphere to try and promote rain. So these Steiger Vortex guns, about 1900 or just before that, they were the in thing. You'd line up the Steiger Vortex guns, point them at the sky, and rounds of shot would be fired, and that supposedly promoted a thunderstorm to develop. There is some evidence they were partially effective, but who knows really. Anyway, the Steiger Vortex guns, there's a few sitting in the town of Charleville in the park on the western side, and they were quite innovative. Now, the other thing about the wonderful Klaas family, which typifies the Germans, is their music. Often they say German immigrants had music and iron together. Well, this family had both. In addition to blacksmithing, they also had their own German band, and the whole family is involved in brass instruments. And I'm now going to play you a tune that was played by the Klaas family. They used to carry their instruments in their own wagon to dances and to functions around the whole district around Roma. So here's one of their old waltzes. And as you can see, I'm sitting beside the very gravestone of Karl Martin Klaas. He was the head of the family and the chief blacksmith. So they were quite a family. They had a young boy called Stummy, and he loved the euphonium. So here's a photo of Stummy. Now I'm going to play you a little German piece called Strasbourg ist ein schönes Stadtchen. Well, Strasbourg is a fine little town. And that was one that was played by the many German immigrants who came out to Queensland, particularly in the outback, where people either settled in the towns. And I must tell you that many of the German settlers that came out here, they were also our original truck drivers, not with a truck, but with bullock wagons and horse teams. So they brought the supplies in from the coast, from the ports in Brisbane, Maryborough and Rockhampton. They brought them overland to the settlers, either by bullock team or horse teams. And they were really terrific. They had some real hardships. Well, here's Strasbourg is a fine little town, which many of these people would have loved and played. And I'm going to play you another favourite little German piece. It's an old schottis, and they would have danced this, and I think there were words for it, but the words have long gone, the tune remains. So. Who knows if Carl's band might have played that very tune, it's hard to say. And I'll finish off with a beautiful little German love song called Du Du liegst mir in Herzen. And it's one that's still known very much in southern Queensland. If you went into a pub in Goombungee, for instance, and you sang or played the tune, people would sing along. So here's Du Du liegst mir in Herzen. as you can see, I'm sitting beside the very gravestone of Karl Martin Klaas. He was the head of the family and the chief blacksmith, so they were quite a family. So that's a very brief encounter with Roma's very own Klaas family, who typified our German families that came out here in the 1800s to make their own life in the new land. And it must have been pretty harsh. We've just been through a drought, and it's looking pretty green here in the Roma Cemetery at the moment because we did have some rain after over 2 years. So join me soon for my next adventure in Outback Queensland with Mark from online Outback Busking. Hope you have a good week. Thanks.